Hi everyone, welcome back. This is Deborah, and what I want to show you today is an idea I had for using postcards in your journals. Now obviously you can just use the postcard, put it in as a tuck spot and take it out and write on the back. But if you've got a lot of postcards and maybe you've got some from your travels and there's no room to write on the back, or postcards you've sent to other people, then I thought that this might be a different way to use them. So I'm going to use it as the cover of this. Now I've cut a piece of manila folder, scored it down the center, and just to make a little journaling spot. Now obviously I could put pages in here if I wanted to. I don't want to do that right now, but I thought I'd just decorate these up. I've got a couple of them, and I've pulled out this, which is actually a bias binding ribbon with a little bit of lace on the end. And I'm pretty sure that I got this when I was traveling. Pretty sure I got it at one of the markets. So if I put this in here, because it's bias binding, I'll actually be able to sew this down on both sides. So it just opens up just like normal bias binding, if I can get it to do that. And then it goes down the side like that. So I can sew that on and then I can journal on it. Now I don't know if that one's the best because it goes right to the edge. Let's find one what about this one? Because that would go quite well with the blues and the reds that are in my bias binding. So yeah, I just put this in here as a starting point and sew it down, and then I can glue the whole card to the front of the little folder that I've made. So that will sit on the front there like that. I'll have to trim that down possibly a tiny little bit. And the other thing I did is I've just taken some fabric that I have and folded it in half, and with this piece I'm going to put it in here and create a little tab. I've got a couple of different ones. Maybe I'll use this one here with the red on it, and that's just going to form a little tab that I can then use to open the little journaling spot with. And then I'll put some other things on top of it. Alright, so I've gone through and sewn those, and they're still all together. Oh, let me just get untangled and cut these off. I ended up using a different postcard. This one is called Snow Day and it's in New York City. So I'll just cut these threads and things off now. And let me just get this chopped too. So when I sewed this tab on, or before I sewed it on, there was a bit of green, like the turquoise, on top of it, that colour. And so I trimmed it back so that only the stars would show. And I think that that would look much better. That was just personal preference to do that before I did it. Now I haven't put them onto the card yet because I didn't want all the stitching to show on the actual card. So that's not done. So let me chop this one down, and I just sewed them at the same time. That's why I need to trim this down, cut some threading off that's bunched up here, and also a bit of thread off this one too. So let's, I've still got some thread. Doesn't really matter, but I will get it off. And let's do a bit more to them. So I'll start by putting it down. Now what I've just realised is that I've put the stuff and the tab on totally the wrong side on this one. But this is going to be one that opens the other way. We've had a new thing, so I might stick that in a page so it's obvious that that is how it opens. But I don't like that this is all floppy, so I could have put some reinforcement, you know, some stiffening or something in there, but because I didn't and now it's sewn, I think I have to come up with plan B. And I think plan B means grabbing a piece of file folder and just roll over and grab that. Luckily it's right here on hand. Okay, so I've got a piece, and I thought if I cut it so that it is about the size of this. Yeah, when I sewed them onto the postcards, I didn't actually look to see which side I was sewing them on, so that was a bit of a surprise. And I might do, actually I'll do another one and then a little bit more. So I hope you've all had a good start to the new year so far, and I can tell you that my sister had a very good start to the new year, because for the first time she became a great grandmother, which is pretty interesting and quite funny actually. I'm still laughing about the fact that she's a great grandmother at her age. Well, not at her age, but that my sister is a great grandmother. And she's 66, so it's just quite funny really. Anyway, I guess that's what it is. Now if I put that stiffening in there, and I should have put it, maybe I should have put it all the way through. Okay, so what I should have done was put that through there and sewn it on, because it's still going to flap around a little bit. What will I do? Will I leave it and not bother, or will I sew it? I think I'm going to, what's the decision here? I think I'm going to sew it in still, even though it's not all the way through. And then with this one, if I get I don't have my unpick with me. This isn't much to unpick, so I'm going to unpick this one and go back to the machine and put some card inside. So I'll just cut some card. Let's put some here. Get this in here. The things you think of after you finish doing something. But there's always time. If you want to unpick, you can get something done. Now I'm not going to worry about the edges of these. I'm going to leave them frayed like they are. I think that will be fine. But obviously when I sew the card in, there'll be some sewing around, so if they do start to fray, I'll have some, there'll be a stitch there, so it'll actually stop. So I need to re-sew this one and just sew around that. And then this one I will also re-sew, but I'm not going to bother unpicking this one. I'll leave it and see how it goes. Okay, so let's just grab that and get that bit done. So what I've done is just sewn that up and down and over the top, and actually because that's stiff, it's probably much better than the other one. We'll call the other one a bit of a fail, a bit of a learning curve, because that's pretty good, but this one here is a bit floppy. I'm still going to use it, and it's upside down as well, so it's got the double whammy, this one. Never mind, we'll just move on. And now I'll put them on. So obviously this one I need to put backwards, otherwise it's not going to work. No, because it's going to poke out there unless I have it open like that, and then that as the tab piece. So actually what I'll do is I'll put it in a pocket, so the pocket will go this way, and then you'll be able to pull it out with the tab and open it up. That's probably the best thing to do. So let's get this down before I change my mind again. Oh dear. These things are sent to try us, I think. Yep, so I will put it up the right way, this way, and then put a bit of glue on there and get this settled in where it needs to go. I'll cut these cards. I pre-cut them, and they're pretty good. They're probably a tiny little bit too wide, but because of the lace on the edge of the bias binding, you don't really see it. So I'm going to leave it as is. So there's one. I want to put a few more things down yet, and then I've got the other piece here. Let's grab this. So they probably look fine how they are. Probably don't need to embellish them, but why not? I've got stuff here, I may as well embellish them. I thought I might put some flowers like on this one, probably not the snow day one. Now this is a little bunch of those stamen things. Now you can buy those, and I did have one here before, but it seems to have done a runner. You can buy these little double-ended ones. Tim Holtz, I don't know if he still does, but it's quite recently, a couple of years, 3 years, he put some out I think. Maybe it wasn't him, maybe it was somebody else. But anyway, you could buy them. But this is actually one that I found at an op shop, and this is the stuff that I do look for at an op shop. It was from a bunch of flowers, obviously from, you know, a wedding or bridesmaid bouquet or something like that, and they always come in handy because they're quite cheap and you get a fair few. You have to watch the pricing at some op shops. They do overcharge, in my opinion. But things like this is something that I always look out for. So I've just pulled this from the stack of little flowers and things that it came with, and I think that it'll make it quite a little pretty, you know, thing to put on the front of something like this. The other thing I've got is the mini flowers. Now I did use my black ones a few weeks ago, and these ones are cream, so I think again they're quite nice to put on to something. And I was wondering if I could make a little display with these, with the flowers and the stamens, because the flowers by themselves are nice, but with the white little stamen things, a bunch of that, I think that they look even better. I'm just wondering how I can put them on the card without them looking like they're just stuck on the front of a card. So that's going to be something I'll need to work on as well. I don't know whether I want them on here now or not. Maybe I can put them in the center of the card. No, they'll be too bulky. So they are a little bit bulky, so I may not use them for this particular project. But anyway, I've shown you that, so at least you know now to look out for these little things that you find in the op shops. So I'll set that to one side. Now I had another thing that I wanted to show you as well, and this is just a little thing, which is why I'm sort of thinking I'll combine it into this one. And of course, once again, I can't find what I'm looking for, and I did clean my desk up yesterday, so I don't know why it is that I'm suddenly not finding anything. Oh, here it is. And here's something else. Now I saw this idea and it was on a YouTube channel. I can't remember who it was. I really can't. So if you know, let me know, because it was just a simple thing, and maybe it's been on other people's channels. I don't have a lot of time to watch YouTube anymore because I tend to be spending time making my own YouTube things and, you know, catching up with a few favorites. But I was flicking through the other night, and I thought that this was a really cute idea. Now, they just used a paper clip, and that's all I'm using. But this paper clip is actually, and I need to move it around the other end. Not having a good day today, am I? It must be the new year. Hopefully it'll get better. This paper clip is actually a red and white striped one that I happen to have. But I think you can see it there. I'll just show you. And all I've done is tie a bit of ribbon on the end. And that was the idea, that they tied a bit of ribbon on the end, and then when you put that onto a card or onto your journal, you get this really pretty little thing. And I think it even looks sweeter with this red and white stripy paper clip that I've got. But it would look good on any. And you could leave that longer, you could tie it in a bow. I've just chopped it off like that. That looks quite good there with the green trees and the red and white, doesn't it? So that's another little idea that I came across that I thought that I would share with you. And I do try to attribute what I see to people. But this was just a brief thing, and I went, oh, that's a good idea. And I didn't actually take note of who I was watching at the time, because I wasn't really watching the whole video anyway. I was just flicking through one night. So there you go. I like that idea a lot. I might have to get some more of these stripy paper clips. I don't even know where I get them from, actually. I just saw them in my stationery and went, oh, I'll just use one of those today to show you this idea. So there's that. And then we've got more embellishments on this one. And I'm thinking, because that bunch of flowers is too big, that I might just do one of these little flowers. So this is a bit of lace, just a string of flowers together, really. And I'll put that down on the bottom corner here. And then on top of that, I've pulled a button out. I think it's a navy button, but it's dark enough just to give it a bit more than what it had. And again, it was fine how it was. This is just about different things that you can enhance these with and make them look a bit better than what they do otherwise. So there you go. So there's this one. Is that on? Yeah. It's a bit, I think just have to wait for the glue to dry. Just hold it for a minute. So I think that this is quite cute, and you've got lots of room for journaling in there. And as I said, if you wanted to, you could put some extra pages in here. So you could sew down the middle of them or whatever. And in fact, I have done that on some that I made off camera a few weeks back, and I'll grab some of those now and show you a couple that I did. So these are a couple. I haven't even cut the threads off. I just threw them in my box of goodies. Let me just chop some threads off. These are a couple that I did the other week. Now, I didn't make them with postcards, but I made them with the manila folder. And this is from a book, so it's just book page. In fact, that's up because the trees are up the wrong way. And I just sewed down the center. So I just got a bunch of pages and I just sewed through the machine and put it through the machine all in one go. And I sewed down the front and back cover on the side as well, although it's all glued down. And all I did was pick all these different papers and cut them into various sizes. You can see that some are littler. It was whatever was left. So where I cut a couple of big pieces that fit, I had little bits like this left, and I don't want to throw them in the bin, so I've just used them. And that's a really cute little journaling spot, and lots of space to journal on that one. And then this one is the same. The cover of this one is from a tapestry book. You can tell that that thread doesn't want to cut off. Up a little bit there, so I check a bit of glue on there. So this is the top, or the a piece from a tapestry book. And this time I didn't do anything on the inside. I just took the rest of the papers and I sewed them in exactly the same way, just through the machine. It's quite thick, but this is my older machine. It's a Janome and it just handles anything. So I don't use my new, my good machine for this. I just use the one that I exclusively use for sewing paper now. So there you go. There's two little booklets, and they're about, I don't know, 3.5, maybe 3.5 by 5. They're a little bit littler than the postcards. So postcards normally 6 by 4. Yep, so they're about 3.5 by 5. I think I'm spot on with my measurements there. So that's another idea for making some little baby journaling spots with, very simply, very easily, and it's super quick. Then I've got, now I've got this one, and I much prefer the hard piece that I've sewn on there and put it with the fabric on it. That is much better than the floppy one, this one, the disaster one. Although that's not too bad now it's been sewn. And I also really like this one because you can tuck it into a spot this way. I mean, I don't know if it's because I'm right-handed, but I tend to sort of put all my journaling things into, tuck them in from the right, not the left. So this is going to force me to put something on the left-hand page. And I think maybe we could cover the back of it, or let's leave it, because you've now got 3 surfaces of journaling area to journal on, and a really good way to use your postcards, particularly your postcards that you've already used, if you don't want to have the writing on the back and don't care about saving the stamp, postcards you've received. So I think that this is quite like this idea. Let's see if we can do something else. So there you go. Let's put those to one side and see if I can come up with another idea. So I've cut some card, just some manila card. I think it's a bit crooked though. It's hard to cut 2-inch pieces on my big cutter. You can't really see what you're doing. So I tend to use this little one if I want something small like this. Just trim this down. Yeah, I knew that was crooked. So I've folded the card. So I've got the postcard and I've scored it along the that line there. So I've just measured and scored it so that I've got a top and bottom piece like that. Let's burnish this down a bit more because it's quite thick. And then what I'll do is on the back I'll glue a piece like that. because obviously it doesn't meet in the middle, so I need to glue something on it in order to make it meet, to form a bit of a pocket. Now if you're going to put this straight into your journal, then you could probably just use the page of your journal as the backing. But as you know, I tend to make bits and don't put things in. So I do, you know, blank journals and then bits to put in journals and then combine them all. So now I've got something I can put into the journal, and then if this isn't the right size, which it is, I've now got a piece that I can put in. So as well as this, I'm going to glue one side up. So I just put the piece in here, some glue, and hold that down, and hopefully that will work to seal this side. Just going to put a clip on there to hold that until it dries, so that it will actually dry. And then this piece is going to become a piece that goes in here. So I think I will start by clipping my corners. Just taking a little bit, oh, they're not quite straight. Let's get another clip there, so that when I put it in here, it looks like a little tag, and then you can pull it out. And then I'll put some stuff down on here. So I'm just looking around my table to see what I'm going to put down. What have I got on here? I do have some stuff that I was playing with in yesterday's video. In fact, yesterday. I will put some of this down. I think this will be big enough. Yep. So I'm covering it all. That's come off around a few of the little edges, but that's okay, not the end of the world. Oh, here, I've got some stuff here that I haven't put away yet. It's always good to have things on the table. Had visitors this morning, so didn't get a chance to put anything away. Which is actually good, because I like to use my stuff, and if I put them away, then I don't get them out again, and I forget, and then I don't use them. Now these little things might be a little bit too small for that. Let's see what's in the bigger one. And I do have other things. I don't always use these. I seem to have them out a lot lately though, and that's okay, because I've got them and I've got plenty of them. Let's see, do I have any pictures or anything in here? No more butterflies left. I think I'm going to use this card, number 2. So I'll do a bit of collages with these stickers. And then I've got some of these little faces might look good. A little man, perhaps. And also seeing what else is in this one. I've got some letters. Maybe I'll put an M. What do you think? Like an M down the bottom here. And I think I need one more thing to put on here. Maybe I will do this. No, that's probably a little bit too big for there. What about this one? Trying to see where this can go. No, I don't like that either. It's not the right size. I think I'll do another clock. I'll have to buy a whole thing of clocks, I think, because I love using the clocks. Now before I put this on, it does have holes in it, so I'm just going to push out those 2 holes so that I have pushed them out, because they'll be easy to get out now rather than later. I'm just taking the little bits off and they're sticking to the back. There you go. And I want to make sure it's overlapping both of those, so like that. And then my usual flip it over and cut to bring it all to life. I think I've got a little bit on the card as well. I think I need something else now, because I don't think that that one's down far enough, so I'm going to have to put a couple more. Maybe I'll go back to another clock. Just get the pokey tool again. Oh, that's not going to come off. Ah. There you go. And overlap that clock on there. That's much better, but now I want to add another one because there's only 4. I know that's there, but that's kind of separated, and there needs to be 5. It's a nature thing. I have to have 5 on there. Oh dear. Now, what about also, I've got these little masks. What about if I put a mask on that dude? Do you think that'd look any good? Let's try it and see. They're teeny tiny little things, these, and I can never get the eye bit to come out cleanly. And I don't have tweezers. I mean, I do. I've got plenty of tweezers, but I just don't have them handy at the moment. There's one. And let's get this other one off. There's 2. Now, even more difficult is getting them to sit over the eyes in their right place. So you have to start by having it onto the pokey tool. I found that upside down works best for me. So if you have these, then try the upside down method. And then put it around now and just check before it goes down. That's good. Okay, now he's got his mask on with his top hat and his moustache. It's going to be a surprise when you pull this tag out, isn't it? And I'm going to ditch that. I like the idea, but it's now gone into that, you know, brown sort of tone that I always love so much. I want to put something on here. Maybe this. Is that? No. This is already cut, so I don't want to have it. It's a piece of the cigar holder from this packet that I cut before. There's another piece too. Maybe I can use it where I've used a part of it and not all of it. Just trying to see if that's going to look any good. Maybe up here. Maybe no. Maybe, I don't know if I want to cover the 2. I don't suppose it matters if I cover the 2 up, is it? Actually, what I can do with this is I can put it as the tab at the top. Got to get it on straight though. So just put it down and then fold it over and hope for the best. It's actually crooked, so I'm going to have to move it over. So I was working on the side. It's hard to get it straight when you're working on the side. How does that look? Yeah, I think that's in the center now. It still looks crooked. It's probably this piece of paper here that's making it look crooked, I think. Just trim that off and see if that helps. Yeah, it's not just that piece of paper, it's also, I think it's way too long, so I'm going to put it down the back here. That's better. Actually, I don't mind that now. I don't think I need to put that fifth thing on because I've put this up here now. So it's looking a bit more balanced. I wouldn't mind something little there. I don't know what I've got that's little though. Check out see if there's any little things. What about some words? That might be good. I'll try this one here. There you go. I'm going to put this down here, I think. Put that there, or I put that over here. Where am I going to put it? Put that maybe up here. I think I'm going to put that here, running the same way as the card. Okay, that's one. And something else now. What about this one? Because that's a bit thicker. Yep, that's going to go down here. Better. Okay, I'm happy now. It took a while, but we got there. And then this, that should be dry now. I can take that clip off, which it is. And then this can go into here. If I can get it in now. Here you go. And how far down will it go? Let's see. It should almost go all the way. Not that I want it to go all the way necessarily, but to there. So now if you put that into a journal, and it's not too long, you could even put it up this way if you wanted to, but in terms of the length, it's 7 inches. So it's probably going to be a little bit wide that way, but you can put it up this way, and you've got a pretty little postcard there that you've used in a different way. So if you've got any postcards, as I said, that are already written on the back, then this would be something else that you could do with them. And then when you pull it out, you've got the dude with his glasses and a bit of a collage. So you'll be going, oh, look at that. Somebody will get a nice surprise when they pull this out of the journal. So that's something else to do with the postcards. And I'll have to think of more things because I do have so many of my own, and also a bunch of others that I've got. But this idea, you could do it with anything. Like this one here would be a good candidate for that. I thought I had another one around here. No, I haven't got anything right now. The other thing you could do is you don't even need to use a postcard. This is a greeting card. And you could do that with this as well. You could create a long one, so you could just fold it over to create a skinny one, because in terms of sizing it would be perfect. So that's something else that you could do, and then you could use the back of it for something. But there you go, that's another idea, just to use the card. But these postcards, I think they're so lovely and thick, and they're really nice. You know, they've got a really nice feel, even though they're a tiny bit, you know, they're not matte, which is my usual style, but they're not overly glossy either. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed that today, and I will catch you next time. This is Deborah. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. Cheers.